Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Pinetop-Lakeside Town Council to order. I'd ask that everybody make sure your cell phones are muted. We do have a quorum. Councilor Krigbaum is on the phone with us tonight. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Diane.
Please pray with me. God, creator of all things, we come before you this evening with thanksgiving. Thank you for the rain this last week, which provided much needed moisture to our parched land. We ask you, Great One, to send more rain. Tonight we remember and we thank you for those citizens who volunteer their time and energy to enhance our communities. We also remember and ask you to bless all the city employees who keep our cities running smoothly, and our city council members who are often tasked with making hard decisions. Grant them wisdom as they lead the citizens of Pinetop and Lakeside. Lastly, we ask that you watch over and protect our first responders as they watch over and protect all the citizens in our area. We pray for peace and unity within our cities as we move forward and look towards the future. Help us to agree to disagree with dignity and honor when tough issues arise. Thank you that you are here with us this evening and throughout all time. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Diane. Item B on our agenda is called to the public. This is a business meeting of the Town Council. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address the council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up in call to the public is limited by the open meeting law. Council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda are not heard during call to the public, and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. Kevin Woolridge, come on up.
Thank you. And Ms. Hoffmeyer's with me too.
Both of you, come on up.
Just in case I don't forget anything, I brought this. The Blue Ridge UA 4-H Fab Lab will be hosting a STEM engagement fair and Fab Lab open house Tuesday, September 12th from 5:30 to 7 in the Blue Ridge Fab Lab. In addition to opening our Fab Lab to the community to view incredible projects students have created, we're also inviting organizations, businesses, and groups from our community to help us identify local community business projects that can be solved by junior high and high school students using STEM. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Students follow scientific and engineering practices as defined by Next Generation Science Standards and Arizona Department of Education. We're asking community members to present problems to us that the kids can solve using STEM. Our focus is problem-based learning, where people present the problems and the students come up with the ideas and the solutions on how to solve the problems. And what we're asking is the community to help us identify problems within our community that the kids can then work towards a solution in solving. I'll let you do that.
Our Fab Lab we've had our Fab Lab for 7 years now, I think, at the junior high school campus. And we want to reach out to the community to showcase it, to show all the great things that the students are doing. There have been some incredible projects they've completed. Won competitions in Huntsville, Alabama for the NASA Rover Challenge. Just some really cool things that are going on. And it's a great place for students to really problem solve and design and engineer different projects. So we'd like to invite the community in to see it and help bring some awareness to some of the community issues that they can help solve.
Okay, thank you. Would you please repeat the date and time one more time so everybody hears that?
Yeah.
I believe I have September 12th. But
September 12th from 5:30 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, and I've included my email. If anybody has any ideas, any things that they think, any ideas, any problems, issues that they would like us to look at, they can shoot me an email. I'll email them a form to fill out. All those have to be vetted to make sure that they're meeting Arizona state standards as to what can and cannot be presented at schools. But all that's in there, and we're also looking at getting something put in the paper.
Could you send me at least, but maybe all of us, just a little blurb or something so that we can pass it on to some other organizations. So if you can send me something that just explains it. I know I got something already, but I don't think it talked about the problem solving and all that. So if you could send me a little something like that, then I can send that on.
Yeah, definitely, and thank you.
If you could send that to Christy, then she could send it to all of us. I
Yeah,
think
okay, that would be good.
Because I'm sure we'd all be very interested in that. Yeah, thank you, Jim, for bringing
Just send it to
Thank you so much.
the clerk, and then she can send it to us.
Now, where is that?
It'll be at the Fab Lab.
Fab Lab?
Yeah. It'll be at the Fab Lab, open house, and then problem fair or STEM engagement fair, we're calling it.
And the Fab Lab is at the high school.
Yeah, it's over by
The old elementary.
old elementary school.
Right.
The same building as the church
Right.
building towards the back. We'll have signs.
I'll attach a map also.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll attach a map with directions on how to get there.
Very good. Thank you for all that you're doing for these kids. It's amazing what they're coming.
It's so neat to see when somebody says this is a problem, kids think out of a different box, their solutions are completely unique, and the kids get to choose the problem they want to focus on based upon their interest. Then they solve it based upon their skill level, the things that interest them. So it's amazing the solutions the kids can come up with. And we get community members to help guide them through some of the higher level science, but it really is neat to watch the process.
It is. Okay, we'll look forward to that. Thank you for
Perfect.
coming tonight.
Thank you.
Good luck in the school year.
Thank you.
Item C is our consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters, will be acted by one motion of the council. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the council requests that an item or item be removed for discussion. Council members may ask questions without removal of the item from the consent agenda, and items removed are considered in their normal sequence as listed unless called out of sequence. We've got 2 items on our consent agenda tonight. Are there any questions or comments on those? No, I'd entertain a motion then. Vice Mayor?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Councilor Craigbaum?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D is business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item, either before or after council discussion. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 tonight is discussion and consideration of resolution number 23-1682, approving the purchase of a used 2006 Kenworth T300 truck. Matt.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I bring you the T300 truck that we had allotted for special projects to buy them a new pickup truck. A couple reasons we decided to change direction, and I'll get into those in a second, but first off I want to address the last council meeting with my CDRs. Typically my CDRs are very to the point and with the financial information, and that's usually all I have in there because we discuss these matters at the budget hearings and we go through them and we talk about them. However, after the last meeting and the public concern, I felt like that we should try to change that a little bit and get a little more perspective in there. So this time I try to add a little more perspective in there. So that's the change in the CDR, so that going forward I'll try to do that so that the public fully understands why we're doing what we're doing, because I feel like it might be misleading hearing just the first time and looking at those CDRs what we're after at the end of the day. So I hope that will help and relieve some of that issue with the public. So into this one, this year we started studying what we were going to replace the truck with. It was intended to replace with an F-250. That's the truck they have currently. And we started getting prices. And our stomachs were turning because the prices were coming back at $80,000 for a new pickup truck. And now we're not talking a fancy diesel that has all the upgrades. We're talking a utility truck that has a utility bed on it and is roll-up windows, manual windows. And we've had real issues with that. So this is actually the truck that was quoted at $79,000 for this truck. We then decided that we would look into other opportunities. So this is the T300 Kenworth, and one thing that we're good at Public Works is diesels. This is what all of the stuff that we run is semis. And one thing that you'll learn about semis is they're interchangeable. The brakes are the same on this truck that they are on our snowplow truck. We have all the tools to maintain these type of trucks. These trucks are able to haul our equipment around town. So after discussing with the staff that would be driving this truck, they were much more interested in a truck that would last them 15 to 20 years versus a pickup truck that could last them 5 to 7, you know, and so that's where we decided, you know what, let's look into this. So we found this truck in Phoenix. We compared 12 other trucks of the same nature, and we found this one to be the best quality and lowest miles and the right price for what we were looking for. It was quoted at exactly $80,000 for the same truck, and so then we decided that we would bring that to you guys to approve a used truck instead of a new truck. And I think that the guys looking outside the box on this is impressive. I mean, most guys want a brand new truck. They don't care that it's, you know, and so for them to be willing to take a used truck, I think that speaks words for what their real intent. They're looking at what really matters to them and what they really need to get done at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any questions or comments, Vice Mayor? You look like you have
Maybe just, and maybe this for anybody who's listening in and not here, just clarification. I know, and I've spoken to Matt a little bit about this. So, I mean, this truck's almost as old as the truck I drive, but mine's a pickup truck. So, it has over 200,000 miles on it. But again, the life expectancy of this is up to 700,000 miles. Is that on?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, Sterling, Vice Mayor Buse. Yeah, typical semis run about 750,000 miles before they're into life. So we're never going to get there in town. This truck is going to move equipment around town and be at all of our special projects jobs, which will be able to carry a lot of different versatile tools for the special projects guys. So it's going to get old before it runs out of life, in my opinion. We probably won't run it out of life. So.
And you would anticipate, yeah, this lasting much longer than the new 3/4 ton pickup.
Yeah, so currently we run the snowplows that snowplow your roads are 1980s, and they have right around 150,000 miles, and they still run like they were made yesterday. What's kind of funny with semis is you can buy a brand new one off the lot today, get pulled over, sorry, Chief, and they can shut you down, and you could be driving a 1980s one and pass inspection. They're all the same parts, and they're interchangeable. We can rebuild the motors right inside the trucks, and so when the prices of pickup trucks have now reached the level of utility semi trucks, it just doesn't make sense to continue down that path.
Thank you.
And so you are going to sell at auction or surplus the existing truck, the crew truck they've been using?
Yeah, we haven't made a decision yet on what we're going to do with it. We've been short trucks for a while. For example, our mechanic doesn't have anything to run to the parts house. So we might keep it for a little bit longer, but we won't put any more money into it. Currently, that truck is sucking up maintenance costs. If we have it go down again, we'll get rid of it. And we probably couldn't sell it for very much. It's pretty old and pretty beat down.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Brimhall?
Question for you. On your, just kind of like the pricing, I know you guys went out and looked at, hey, these different prices, this is a good price, best value type of thing. But when you guys get the quoted price, do you like push back and negotiate and
Yeah. So this truck was listed at 84.5, and I pushed back and got 80,000 even.
Okay, so the quote, like the list price was what they initially offered to you, and then you got them down to 80.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Matt? Entertain a motion?
Motion.
Heisler.
I move to adopt resolution number 23-1682, approving the purchase of a used 2006 Kenworth T300 truck in an amount not to exceed $86,880, with financing approved by Zion's Bank Corporation to be paid with annual payments subject to annual appropriation, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete this transaction.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 23-1682. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Councilor Kriegbaum?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Don't go away. Item D2 is discussion and consideration of resolution number 23-1683, approving the purchase of a new Bobcat L28 loader.
Articulating loader.
Thank you, articulated loader. That word just didn't come out. Go ahead, Matt.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So the same thing that we spoke about earlier, we've revamped this CDR to be a little more explain more for the public to understand why we're doing what we're doing, and maybe that'll help relieve some of the issues. Currently, the town is using a mower for cleaning sidewalks throughout town. We have this facility, we have the trails around the park, we take care of all the court parking lot at the court facility up in Pinetop. We also have PD and the library. This last year, it was relevant, or it became obvious that that was not the right piece of equipment to do the job. As you can imagine, this snow season was pretty rough on us. So we were bringing in staff at 2, sometimes 1 in the morning to shovel out every single sidewalk in town. Mostly because it keep going down because equipment repairs and so on. At that point, we realized that we had to do something different. So we started studying the different types of pieces of equipment out there. We reached out to all the different companies and Bingham, which is basically Bobcat, and we looked at different options that would be the best fit for us. We were able to find this piece of equipment that we feel will be the best fit for us. It weighs 4,000 pounds. Most skid steers weigh about 7,000 pounds. So we needed something lighter that could run on the sidewalks throughout town without destroying them. So that's when we decided on this piece of equipment to help us accomplish the monumental task of snow plowing.
What's the lifespan of this type of equipment typically?
Something like this, I would say in between 15 and 20 years. It's pretty long. Yeah, I don't think this is something we'll be changing out. The mower that we were using for this, we significantly took its lifespan away. It has significant damage from what we were trying to use it for. But this piece of equipment is designed to also move dirt, so it can take that abuse, where a mower is not designed for that type of stuff.
Okay. Any other Vice Mayor?
Just one, and you mentioned it, so this has multi-uses. I mean, it's not just for snow.
Yep.
You can move dirt with it.
Yeah, so we're getting enough
Things like
attachments to go with it. I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, I didn't mean to cut you off. We have forks, a bucket, a snow blower, snow plow, and a broom with this. So the streets crew will be able to use this to sweep the highway. I don't know if you've ever watched us sweep the highway, but it's kind of comical sometimes because it's a lot of sidewalk to sweep, and our equipment is wider than the sidewalk, so it makes it difficult to sweep. So hopefully with this piece of equipment, it's the right size to fit the sidewalk. It'll make it a whole lot easier for us to sweep the sidewalks. And so the streets crew is also excited about having something that fits and works for what we're using it for.
And I'm sure the citizens will appreciate the nice clean sidewalks too, because it'll make it easier for you to do it more, maybe even more frequently.
Yeah, you know, the streets department's doing a great job of taking care of the 260 corridor this year. It was really nice out there.
It does. Any other questions or comments for Matt on this item?
I'll make a motion.
Councilor Smith.
I move to adopt resolution number 23-1683, approving the purchase of a new Bobcat L28 loader through a state contract in an amount not to exceed $76,730.35, to be paid with annual payments subject to annual appropriation, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete this transaction.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 23-1683. Further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Councilor Craigbaum?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Mayor.
Item D3 is a public hearing, discussion, and consideration of resolution 23-1681, adopting the FY 2023-2024 final budget for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside. Kevin.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. What we have for your consideration tonight is approval and adopting the final budget for the town. On July 6th, the tentative budget was approved by you all in an amount of $29,531,533. What we're bringing for you tonight is a request to adopt the final budget. That amount has not changed from what the tentative budget was. And I stand for any questions.
Any questions for Kevin? Okay, seeing none, this is a public hearing. Is there any member of the public that would like to address this? Okay, seeing none, we'll just go ahead and close the public hearing then. I would entertain a motion. Vice Mayor?
I move to approve resolution number 23-1681, adopting the final budget for the town of Pinetop-Lakeside for fiscal year 2023 to 2024.
I second.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second, to approve resolution number 23-1681. Further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. Councilor Craigbaum?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D4 is reports from council committee liaison and the town manager. Councilor Craigbaum, do you have any reports for us?
Thank you, Mayor. I would report that I'm having a wonderful trip. Been to the beach and now San Francisco, and now today I am in Bend, Oregon. I will be back home on Monday, August 14th, and that's the only thing I have to report, as I'm not going to tax meeting or not going to Save Our Park anymore, and I think we have had a chorus meeting. If we would have one, I'm thrilled to go, but I'm still hoping that will happen. And otherwise, I think, thank you, and thank you for allowing me to listen to the meeting on my phone.
Thank you, Councilor Craigbaum. Safe travels to you and your husband. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
Councilor Brimhall?
Nothing really to report. School is back in full swing. Sports are going on. I'll have a better report next time we report on these topics.
Thank you. Councilor Heisler?
Mayor, I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Just the museum is scheduled to have a board meeting on August 17th at 4 o'clock, followed by a general meeting at the White Mountain, what's it called now? Community Center, yes, I'm sorry. They actually need to fill several positions on the board to include secretary and treasurer, so they're looking for volunteers to do that. They also tentatively have their milk can dinner fundraiser, which is always a good event, scheduled for September 2nd. And that's usually at the, there'll be more details on that, but that's usually at the Lakeside Fire Station there. Just to report on the Backcountry Horsemen of the White Mountains, successful cowboy breakfast last month, and appreciate those of you who attended that. There's another one scheduled, and Jim had some little business card sized flyers on that, but everyone's invited. That'll be Saturday, August 19th from 8 to 10 at the Nature Center. And that's all I have to report today.
Thank you. Councilor Smith?
I just have one thing that you might find really interesting. With the help of the mayor, we solved a really interesting problem for the senior center. We found in the safe deposit box a document that said, the governing board hereby gives to the senior center this building. And it was dated 1984, which is the year we were incorporated. And it was signed by the governing board, by the Pinetop-Lakeside governing board. So we had no clue. And the mayor came up and said, oh, that was signed by Ed Baker. I know him. And she went and visited with him, and we solved the mystery. The governing board was the school board. It was not the town. And the building was given, the current building that we have for the community center now, the White Mountain Community Center, used to be known as the senior center, belongs to the senior center. It doesn't belong to the board, the school board. because they gave it to us. So that's an interesting thing, and now we'll see if we can acquire the land maybe and move forward with some other things. And I'll help them figure out how to get this recorded so it becomes of record. But thank you, Mayor.
My pleasure.
Okay.
My pleasure. Counselor Schnitzer.
Sterling talked about the cowboy breakfast, and I handed out some cards, so I want everybody to take out a pen. And on that card where it says September 15th, write in 23rd. So apparently I got the date wrong. But anyway, I'll print some new cards up and see that they're passed out. But we are having the cowboy breakfast at the Nature Center. It's a lot of fun. I absolutely encourage you to go. It's a worthwhile organization and a fun time. We will have a special treat that I don't think they've announced yet on August 19th. So let's see. On other things at the Nature Center, we've had, we just had a presentation a week ago on hummingbirds, and we had the largest crowd we've ever had for a single inside presentation. 110 people showed up, an amazing crowd, to learn more about hummingbirds. So that was good. We've consistently had big crowds with the bird show in back. The biggest audience we've had was 99, which is, people were standing. We are working on the Nature Center. We're right now busy working on bathrooms. It's pretty prosaic, but they're tearing out if any of you know, the bathroom in the back room was utilitarian. And so we hope to have an even better bathroom shortly. And then the bird enclosure is coming along very well. We're getting kind of toward the end of that. We still have a couple of weeks of work to go, but that's coming along real well. And then tracks, let's see, switching gears, tracks. We've been getting a lot of, some of you know, we put these rollover gates at locations through the forest, and we've got more to install, but they're a metal gate, so that if you're a bicycle rider, instead of having to stop, get off your bicycle, open the gate, carry it through, close the gate, and get back on, you can just ride over and keep riding. And people that are disabled can use those. They can't get off and on their bikes like normally able people can. So getting a lot of comments. People like the bike gates. The trail crew's been working on the Los Burros Trail now for about a month. A lot of work needed to be done on it. It's one of our premier trails. People love that trail, but it had gotten pretty badly overgrown with locusts, so that's been all cleaned up. And Trax has a new president. Nick Lund retired. He's been heading Trax for most of the last 16 years, I think. And he finally decided to, hang up his McLeod. And so the guy that we have replacing him is a absolutely wonderful guy, Steve Dobbs. And he's been, he's more of a in the past, he's been more of a behind the scenes guy, including he's the guy that was responsible for those rollover gates. So we are absolutely delighted to have him in the chair. And then the last thing I have is we're still working on irrigation issues. They're trying to, by now they may have fixed underneath the Creekside subdivision, there's a pipe that carries that water, and it was damaged and partially collapsed, and that was restricting the water flow. And the owner of Creekside agreed to pay to get that dug up and fixed. So we're still creeping along, is probably the right word, on getting the irrigation issues fixed. But we're working much more cooperatively with the irrigation district, and that's good. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a few things to add. Thank you to Chelsea Hodge. I know she was key to having National Night Out night before last. We had a great turnout. We ran out of root beer floats, I'm sorry to say, as well as hamburgers, but it was a lot of fun, so please pass that on to her, Chief. A couple other things coming up. August 12th is the Sheriff's Posse Barbecue. While these aren't town events, they're community events. I encourage everybody to go. That'll be held at Charlie Clark's Orchard. And then on Saturday, August 26th, is the Humane Society Happy Tales Auction. That's always like the big event of the summer, one of the big events. And that also is at the Orchard on that Saturday, August 26th. So there's not a lack of things to do. Keith, do you have anything to add?
I sure do. You bet. Thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Just to add to the National Night Out note that you mentioned. We figured we had about 250 attendees, so it was very well received within and outside and within the community. I'll stop there. A special thank you to everybody who made this such a great community event. Mayor Irwin, Vice Mayor Buse, Council Member Heisler, you volunteered to help make root beer floats. It was hard not to lick my fingers when those things were going by, but you guys did a great job. Thank you for doing that. I also want to, as the mayor did, acknowledge Chelsea Hawes for her leadership in organizing the event. Chief Barnes, Commander Wilkie, all of our officers. We had a great turnout. Police administrative staff, our VIPs, the library staff jumped in and helped. Other community organizations like Walking Down Ranch. We had other organizations, the Forest Service, the Arizona Rangers.
Navajo County?
Who?
Navajo County was there?
Navajo County, the SRT truck was there, special response team. So everybody, it was a great event. Kids had a lot to do, different activities. So thank you everybody for that. The library hosted recently a community story project at the White Mountain Community Center. It was a packed house. And with storytelling, crafts, ice cream, that was a personal favorite, and prizes. Tony wrote this, but he knew that was my personal favorite. He wrote that in there, so yeah. I went for the ice cream and prizes. It was great to see so many smiling faces, so thank you to Betsy and her staff for putting that on. It was a good deal. Now, put on your calendar, we have the final music and movie in the park will be this Saturday. The music is by the Jazz Monkeys at 6:30 p.m., followed by the movie The Bad Guys. It's an animated. Last month we had about 200 people attend, so we look forward to another big crowd Saturday. There's food trucks and the music, so bring a chair, bring a blanket, have a good time. And I think the corn dog guy is going to be there too, so I'll double up on pulled pork and corn dogs. It's going to be a good combination.
And popcorn and candy.
Yes, yep. Also, the Fall Festival Parade, registration is open. That'll be September 23rd at 10 o'clock. So you guys, with the breakfast, the hard closure on the highway happens about 9:30. So there'll be a lot of traffic coming down. But it's a good segue into the weekend to have that going on there. But be aware of that, that'll be happening. I think everybody's received an invitation to participate in the parade, and we hope you'll be able to join us. We're going to have golf carts with an RV set up, and for the be pulled behind the golf carts and handing out candy. No, not candy, trail mix. So we're excited about that. There will also be, the Arizona Town Hall is holding a meeting up here in Pinetop-Lakeside. It'll be at the Reese Center. It's August the 16th at 11:30 a.m. The topic is funding equity for transportation in Arizona. So if you haven't registered and you would like to attend, please let Tony or Rob know, and they'll send the invitation to you. The email I sent out yesterday about the transportation from RTAC is also, maybe that's going to be part of this discussion. But, you know, the challenge in the state of Arizona is the lack of funding for the many needs in the transportation of our community, of our state. So this will be a good discussion. So we invite you to participate in that also. And we're proud to be able to have it come to Pinetop-Lakeside. That's all I've got.
Thank you.
Oh, no, wait, sorry.
Oops.
Matt asked me to also.
Dan wants to add.
Who does?
Dan.
Dan? Okay. We have a lot of paving projects. We've done the chip seals. We did a lot of chip sealing on the roads, made huge improvements there. They also have 5 roads that they're doing some paving on. Springer Mountain Drive, Julia Lane, a portion of Hopi Lane, on Elk, the cul-de-sac, and on Pine Cone Lane, the cul-de-sac there. So appreciate all the work that is happening this summer on our roads. Appreciate everything Public Works is doing to get that done. So that's all I've got. Dan had something.
Dan, come on up.
not being able to get through there as you normally do. So you can go out, if you're living in the subdivisions there, you can go out and turn right to get out the other end, but it's going to be shut down for that period of time. So.
Thanks for the heads up. Okay, anybody else think of anything? All right, that concludes our business tonight, so we are adjourned. Thank you.